Students in the Madison Metropolitan School District are learning about jazz thanks to a special grant from the Greater Madison Jazz Consortium. Photojournalist Doug Wahl takes us to a class at Whitehorse Middle School.
As we play through it together, we are going to have somebody on the melody, somebody on chops, and somebody on bass. A 1, 2, here we go. When you kind of take the role of being an artist, what you're doing is you're taking the role of enlightening other people to say we're all creative.
To meet kids, help them to find their own voice, playing, give them a chance to learn to improvise a little bit. There doesn't need to be a wall between popular music, the music that you're listening to, and what you do on the instrument.
I want John to show you how to do just a percussive chop right now.
Doing it like that, so it'd be 1, 2, 3. So when you
A lot of these kids are not going to go out and see a jazz concert. They're not going to see a mariachi group. They probably have never seen anybody play jazz live.
It's very satisfying to see those aha moments when a kid who sees the violin or his instrument being used in a new way to make sounds that they didn't know were possible on the violin. Just see them light up, and it seems really neat, and it's fun to be part of.
1, 2, 3, here we go. You know, having kids in the school and seeing a beautiful program like Ms. Wahl has here at Whitehorse, you know, she is really inspiring kids to want to play these instruments.
You guys are so concert ready. I think that it is unique to Madison and the variety of grants that are granted, I guess, is really impressive. Soloists. In this order.
I think there's lots of studies that show that kids that do music do better in school. They're doing something that's stimulating them in another way.
My God.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I feel very lucky to be a part of a process of bringing different sorts of music, different artists into the schools. The teachers do a great job, but there's only so much that any given person can do.
The beauty of just making music and of being human, you know, making sounds and creativity.
This money allows kids to be exposed to something and participate in something that they would never get the chance to.
No place like Whitehorse.
Well done.
Yes.
They sound great.
And joining us now to tell us more about the program is Susan Fox from the Greater Madison Jazz Consortium.
And Jessica Wahl, who you just saw in our story. She is the orchestra director at Whitehorse Middle School.
Those kids sound great.
You must be so proud, Jess.
I'm so proud.
Well, Susan, let's start with you and tell us a little bit about the Jazz in Residency grant.
All right. This is something that the Greater Madison Jazz Consortium provides to the Madison Metropolitan School District. We actually get the grants from other organizations, nonprofits, foundations, specifically Dane Arts and the Fund for Children, and then the money is re-granted through the program.
Why is this important to you?
Well, I think the best way for kids to start an interest in jazz, or for anybody, is as a child. And I remember my own dad playing jazz, Glenn Miller and whatever else. And of course, I thought it was corny. I have to admit, I wanted to listen to rock and roll.
Where are the words?
Yeah, right.
But
right.
Jessica, does this give kids an opportunity to experience jazz that they might not have had otherwise?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you heard in the piece, like they just wouldn't go out and listen to jazz on their own. And really, it's my job as their teacher to expose them to these different genres. Like last year we did mariachi, and we got some real, mariachi musicians that came from Milwaukee. So this authentic experience with an artist that is a professional is profound. It just like being in the room with them, to hear them play their instrument, it really is awe-inspiring.
So do you think a lot of them will go on to play in high school and beyond?
They better.
How does this jazz segment compare to the other ones you've done?
Well, so the main focus of this residency was to teach them how to improvise. And so Lori helped me teach them how to do improvisation. And so it's something that I have never done before. And the kids, you know, learned along with me. I mean, I can improvise personally, but getting them to break out of their shell that way was really inspiring.
What were some of their reactions to it? What have they said to you about
Well,
this experience?
I told them that they were all going to improvise in front of the school. And they're like, no, we're not. I'm like, yeah, you are. And then we did like a little bit at the concert that previous evening, and all the kids that improvised were like, that was
Nothing to
fine. And so they like really thought that it was a cool thing.
Is this a good jazz town?
It is a good jazz town, but we're trying to make it better, and that's part of the role of the Jazz Consortium is to build a sustainable and vibrant jazz community. But we have a lot of more musicians than you really would expect that play jazz. And if you go to Jazz in Madison, the website, you'll find some of the bands listed.
And new musicians
The
coming up.
future looks very
Yes.
bright.
That's right,
Jessica.
yes.
It really does.
Susan, Jessica, thanks for being with us.
Great to
today.
see you
Great program.
both. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Yeah,
you too.
same to you.
Well done, kids.